And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, February 20th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. A Monday morning, a holiday for some, but not for us.
Not us. We're getting it, Coleman.
Oh, Don Hamlet is here to talk about Absolute Kubota, and I think you're chomping at the bit to go this morning.
I am ready to go, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Nice weekend. Hope you did.
I did. I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, good weather. Got out of town, did a little hiking. It was beautiful.
Oh, you are a hiker, huh?
I try to be. My wife loves it, and I try to tag along. So,
Where did you hike, if I may ask?
Savage Gulf. I think it's the state's newest state park. It's between Chattanooga and Fall Creek Falls, up that area. So It's beautiful. Everybody should go. Go try it out. Stay in Tennessee. Check it out. There's a lot of good stuff to see around.
How much hiking? How long did you hike? I'm wondering.
It was probably an hour and a half or two, but I have backpacked all over Montana and Wyoming and the Smokies and everything else. So.
Well, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
I'm not lazy.
Don is in sales, of course, at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon. He can sell you a Kubota tractor. He can sell you hay equipment, zero turn mowers, RTVs, everything from weed eaters to hay bales.
That's it, Coleman.
Well, what you got on your mind this morning?
I just want to give everybody the heads up. I know it really depends on soil temperature, but everybody always gets really excited when, like even later on this week, I think Thursday, it's going to be 80 degrees. But when the soil temperature gets up into the mid to upper 50s is when you need to have already had your pre-emergent applied to your lawns. That's what's going to keep your crabgrass and other things from pre-emerging and get them to come up through the soil. So I know that we've had a lot of people starting to come in and get those. It is a 2 application process. You're going to do it, and then a few weeks, couple of 2 or 3 weeks later, you're going to apply it again. You can come in and talk to our guys. They will help you. We actually have a specialist. His name is Ben Spurlock. So if you have serious and long and hard questions that some of us around there may not know the answers to, we can always get you to Ben. He can help you figure out how many bags of fertilizer do I need for how many square feet of property that you have. Mm-hmm. It's a great resource. He is, and it's time to be getting those pre-emergents put out and be ready for that.
I think y'all been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah, even on our webpage, I'm sure it's on our webpage. I know we have some printed things we can print off for you. It's kind of a sheet that says on this date, put your pre-emergent out. Mm-hmm. So many weeks later, do another application of that. When is it time to do your seed? Get your seed put out. When is it time to do this? When should you aerate and overseed in the fall? Just different things like that. So it's a great resource to keep.
But that's one of the things that you have in addition to the tractors and farm equipment and sort of thing.
And then once you get your grass growing and it's time to cut, we have Kubota, Exmark, and Hustler lawn equipment. We've got a good supply of those right now. They've got some great financing and everything. You can come in, we can get you all fixed up on that.
And it might be a good thing to go ahead and get your mower in, check your mower yourself, whatever you normally do. But I mean, if that mower's not going to make it for another year, you might as well go ahead and get one now and be prepared.
Be ready. Don't wait till the last minute.
To get it serviced.
That's right. If you're going to need to get your lawnmower serviced, and you're going to need to get your lawnmower serviced, go ahead and call Clint. You can make an appointment, drop it off, and come back in a few days and pick it up. And then when this 70 and 80 degree weather, if it does continue, grass is going to be needing to be cut early this year, so you'll be ready to go.
Well, you got all of this. You've got great products. You've got service after the sale. You've got people who know what they're talking about. Quite frankly, you've got a lot of experience there. You've got a number of years' experience yourself.
I've got quite a bit of experience in the equipment. And, of course, Matt Bryson used to own a landscaping company. He is very knowledgeable on anything that you would need to do in your lawn. Like I said, we have the expert Ben Spurlock that we can get you in contact with. If you want some soil testing done, we have some things that you can do to send those off, get your soils tested. A lot of different resources there to help the guys. Some guys just want to cut their grass and go back and watch ball game. Other people really care about how their property looks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for you've got for the right equipment for whatever your needs are, and you can help take care of it to the extent that they want your help there.
We can sell it to you. We'll have parts. You can do your own service, or you can go through our service department, and we'll do your maintenance for you.
But if you're buying new equipment,
Yep.
you've got some really great ways to do that. Zero financing.
Always.
Zero
Whether you need a
interest.
tractor or zero-turn lawnmower or brush cutter, whatever it might be you need, we can get you fixed up.
And as you said, you can make those monthly payments at no interest up to a period of time.
Sure.
Even if you got the money in the bank, you can.
No need to write a check and spend your money when, everybody always says you can use someone else's money.
Right. That's the idea. Well, you're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And
Saturdays from 8 till 12, 1506 West Main Street. Our webpage is just www.absolutekubota.com. We're on Facebook. You can check us out. We make a few posts on there every now and then. If it's something that you get on there and you start following us, then you'll get those updates and you'll know what's going on. So you can do that.
all right, we'll keep all that in mind. And a lot of people do start at that website.
They do.
A lot of people, I guess, start at Facebook. But
They do.
Yeah. All right. And of course, you're always as close as that telephone. 615-449-6171.
That's us. Give me a call.
All right. See you next Monday.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. That's Don Hamlet, and that's it for Absolute Kubota. We're 10 and a half after the hour, and I want to welcome State Representative Susan Lynn, who is live in studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Hi, Coleman. Good morning.
I am glad to see you, of course, and today's a holiday, as I mentioned earlier, for a lot of people. I guess you do not go into the legislature today, or do
We
you?
don't. We
No.
don't. But I do have a meeting tonight. We are invited out, us legislators are invited out to hear a idea or emerging issue on a criminal justice issue. I really don't know too much about it, but I am going to go downtown tonight and get educated on this issue and the statistics and what the emerging idea is.
Well, there are a number of things we could talk about. Did you get your committee assignments? I know we talked about it, but I can't remember. Did you have much change, or are you pretty much where you were?
I'm exactly where I was, and also the same office, the same parking spot, the same seat on the floor. Everything's the same.
All right. Well, I know there's a thing regarding the Register of Deeds offices in Tennessee that you want to talk about this morning, so let's just get into that.
Yeah, I actually wasn't familiar with the issue, but a attorney friend called me last week and said, Susan, a legislator is seeking to make changes to the law regarding deeds, and that the fees would change, or there would be a point size on the font. And so I said, well, let me call the legislator. So I called him, and he told me that in his district, some attorneys will hand in a deed, maybe it's 300 pages long, but the point size on the font will be like 4 point, like nobody can read it. And so in his Register of Deeds office, they just hand the deed back to the attorney's office, and they say, we can't read it. You've got to make this readable. And they say, well, Tennessee law doesn't say that.
Yeah.
So he filed a bill to put a point size on the deeds when they're handed in. Because, these deeds are scanned. And so attorneys, they can get them by PDF, and you can zoom in on the PDF. But a lot of times citizens come in, and it's just a photocopy, and they can't read it. They can't read it. And oftentimes the people in the office can't read it either. So there was a compromise being worked out, because that would increase the cost of filing greatly if there was a minimum point size. There's a compromise being worked out, and the compromise, so the bill will not run this week. Any attorneys who are listening, the bill is not running this week. It's on the calendar, but he is going to roll it. And the compromise it'll be $50 of filing. But I said to him, well, some deeds are real small, like a quick claim deed, they're going to be 3 pages or so. And $50 to file that is certainly a great increase over what it is now. Mm-hmm. And he said, I know, we're hearing that. And he said, so I think I might have a 12-page minimum, and then, go from there. So it's a hard thing to work out. It really is. I do agree the deeds ought to be legible when they're handed in. So they're just going to work on it this week, and we'll see what happens. But any attorney or register of deeds office or employees that want to call me, please call me, because any of your input might help work out this bill.
Okay, and I'm wondering what their idea about this is, but I mean, obviously, what's the use in having something if you can't read it?
Exactly. Yeah, especially if it's a citizen who comes in, they don't have a computer, they can't expand a PDF to try to read it. You can understand how frustrating that is.
Okay, well, but that's there may be some discussion, but there's not going to any going through the committee will be after this week.
So it's passed in the Senate. This bill has passed in the Senate. So the House is where this bill has to be worked out. And it's my understanding they're going to try to work this out this week. Otherwise, they'll probably just pass it the way the Senate passed it, which has a minimum point size in it for the font.
Okay, State Representative Susan Lynn here. Time for us to take a break on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota. Premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still tied up out here as people stare at this earlier wreck on 40 westbound, just past Fessler's. Talk about wrong place, wrong time. You got all that traffic coming in from the airport there out of Donaldson, headed towards downtown. Again, this crash, blocking the left lane, 40 westbound, just past Fessler's. Traffic's on the increase in Wilson County. Actually, it looks like it's starting to slow down on 40 westbound, just outside of Lebanon. We'll check and see what that is. That heavy traffic coming through that section of Wilson County, again, just outside of Lebanon. Hey, Snapdragon Hemp, serving up lab-tested top-shelf hemp products across the entire nation. Edibles, flowers, concentrates. Check them out online at snapdragon420.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
Hello, Phoenix fans. This is Reed Bass from Vero Beach, Florida, and I'm a senior here on Cumberland's baseball team. We have a big week ahead, and we need your support. Wednesday, we go on the road to battle third-ranked Tennessee Westland at 1 o'clock. Then we open Mid-South Conference play at home at 2 o'clock, Friday versus Pikeville, followed by the doubleheader Saturday at noon. Hear all the action right here on the radio station or on the Cumberland website at gocumberlandathletics.com. And be sure to check the website for possible schedule changes due to weather. Go Phoenix!
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. State Representative Susan Lynn is with us today. We're just having a little conversation here about, I guess this is a special guest that's coming to the legislature, Coach Tony Dungy.
Yes, he's coming this week, and he's going to give us a little inspirational talk, and we'll all get to meet him and just pay our respects to him for his big career.
You mentioned his name, and it rang a bell, but not enough. And looked it up here, but I thought he had a connection with the Indianapolis Colts, and he did, and also Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're not all that big into sports, I don't think, but you enjoy an inspirational speech regardless.
I do. I love people who have had careers and they can tell us how they did it, how they did what they did, how they led people. I just love that. I love learning how they've done that. And I think it's great for youth, too.
I'm thinking now that he's the one that did not raise his voice an awful lot. Mm-hmm. He said, listen, you guys, this is as loud as I get or whatever, but pay attention. And, you're going to enjoy him.
I know. I'm really excited about that. And then also Mount Juliet FFA is coming this week. So we're excited to see them, too, and hear how they're doing.
What are you hearing from I'm wondering, any particular bills that some of your constituents are really, I won't say up in arms, but maybe really concerned about some things, either for or against. Anytime we have some controversial legislature, you get, most likely you get to hear both sides. And especially if there's a group of people who are just very much opposed to something, it seems like they can really well, put on a good show. They can really, really be vocal.
They can be vocal, they can. So HB1, that is the bill about the transgender surgeries. HB9, that is the bill about the the shows, the I don't want to say burlesque shows, but the drag queen shows.
Yes, yes.
And then also, what are some other bills we're hearing about? And I have to tell you, my district is overwhelmingly in favor of HB1 and HB9. I have talked to some folks on the phone who are opposed to that legislation, and I always appreciate talking to them and hearing from them. Anybody is welcome to call. Absolutely. In fact, one of the calls I took, actually, I think both were on my cell phone. My cell phone's very easy to find. You can call me anytime. But overwhelmingly, people are support of this legislation.
Well, what's your sentiment regarding your House colleagues on those two, 1 and 9, I believe you said?
Right. Well, I mean, basically in Tennessee, we protect children. Children don't have the ability to really understand the consequences of such a life-altering change to their bodies if they were to go ahead and have surgery or take medication that would suppress their puberty perhaps forever. They don't have the ability to understand that, and it's really important that they grow up and then have a chance to make up their minds. Most people change their minds. And it would be a shame for them to have something done that they regret for the rest of their lives. I mean, it could affect their fertility with.
Well, I've heard of.
You never know if you're going to want to be a parent. My daughter used to say all the time when she was a teenager, I never want to have children. I never want to have children or brats. Well, she's got 3 children today, and she cherishes them. And I just laugh to myself about that because she really thought when she was a teenager, you know how teenagers are, I don't want to have children. I want to do this or that. And here she's got 3 beautiful children.
Well, there's been some places that I've heard of where maybe teachers might even encourage, but even if they don't, that they don't tell parents, that parents are kept in the dark about this.
Yeah.
Do we have, is there anything in this bill about that?
No, there's nothing in the bill about that at school, but we did pass something last year about, and hopefully teachers are respecting that. I don't know. There's a pretty aggressive move on TikTok and all to really influence children and very, I guess, I think of it all as a kind of like a narcissistic environment out there. It really is. Life isn't about, getting attention for yourself. Life is about what you give, what you service to others, helping others. You feel so good about yourself and so wonderful in service to others. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you look. In fact, when I was growing up, my mother used to say to me, there was, there's different girls in the class and this and that. And there was this one girl and, everybody just thought she was so beautiful. And we all just loved her. And my mother pointed out one time, she said, you know what? I want you to think about something. If you look at her, physically, she's really not that beautiful. It's her heart, it's her attitude, it's the way she treats other people, it's her kindness. That's why everybody thinks she's so beautiful. And that's what makes you beautiful. And boy, was that a lesson for me, because you just know it doesn't matter how I look. People will remember how you treat them, and that's how they'll think of you as beautiful or handsome or whatever.
How much more through the committee process and so on do these two that we're talking about here, are they close to the end of discussion and ready to be voted on, or?
Yes, they're both coming to the floor this week on Thursday. We don't have session tonight. We're only having session 2 days a week right now because there's not that many bills that are ready for the floor. So yes, HB1 and HB9 will both be on the floor on Thursday.
And where are they in the Senate? If they, either one of them, they're about the same place. They haven't passed in the Senate.
I don't know. I haven't seen that they passed in the Senate. There's also another bill that's going through, and it is regarding our abortion law. And what it seeks to do is, the sponsor says they want to better define life of the mother. But there's, some legislators who feel like you can drive a Mack truck through the definitions for life of the mother. So that bill is still being worked on. It's still in compromise. It's still in talks. Of course, I passed the bill that we have now, the law that we have now. And so I've been watching this legislation very keenly. It was a legislator from East Tennessee who filed it. And I've been watching this legislation very keenly. We haven't talked with each other about it, but I have been watching it and talking to my colleagues in the committee to see where they are at it.
Well, do you think that what got passed needs to be altered at all?
I think the current bill protects doctors best. I really do. I think they are misunderstanding the affirmative defense, and I think it's the other side. It's the other side that is saying the affirmative defense is not protective. It's the most protective. It truly is the most protective if you think about it, but you have to sit down and think about it and realize why it is the most protective. So, we'll see. We'll see. They're getting there. This is a whole new crop of legislators. I think we passed that bill, I think, in 2019. It was actually the governor's bill, and he asked me to run it in the House, and I can't remember who the Senate sponsor was at this point, but I think that once they talk things out and really examine things, they may make a small tweak. It won't be what they're doing right now. I think that it'll work out in the end. You have to have faith in your colleagues and all that.
Okay. The other things, I've got something I can bring up, but if you've got something you want to mention first while you go ahead.
Well, I don't know if we talked since the governor's speech, but, the governor proposed the idea of choice lanes.
Well, that's just what I was wanting.
Oh, good. Okay. So choice lanes, if we pass it, will have a big effect on I-40 in the Mount Juliet area, probably going into the Lebanon area, because what would happen is property, would be purchased by outside companies to build more lanes on I-40 for the purpose of being a choice lane, which would mean someone would pay to use that lane.
Right. Now, that would be at least a lane, one lane on each
each side.
Would it be more than one, at least in the beginning, or?
There's only so much room on the side of I-40, right? So, think about it. We've got Central Pike there. We've got John Hager Road. So I don't know. It's a big change. It's a big change to take land in those areas. Those roadways run right along the side of the road. So think about the Lebanon area too, right along the side of the road. Now, would choice lanes be helpful? For some people who want to pay to get into Nashville quicker, they have the choice to use that lane. It would give us a lot more money to our road fund. Our road fund only has about $2 billion a year. Even with the passage of the Improve Act, that was only an increase of $250 million. Well, guess what? Inflation has eaten that money. So has, when we went through COVID, nobody was driving, everybody was staying home. We get our gas tax by the gallon. If we use a lot of gallons, we get a lot more gas tax. Well, people were not driving. So we had a big decrease in the amount of money available. That's why these projects have kind of slowed down. Now, choice lanes, if we did pass it, it would take a few years to build those roads and all of that. So what are we doing? We have a huge budget surplus this year. We are going to take $3 billion from the general fund and give a grant to the highway fund. $3 billion. TDOT's budget right now is about $2 billion. It's about $2 billion. So that's a lot more money. It's more than doubling the budget. And if you think about it, that $2 billion budget right now for TDOT, half of that is maintenance of current roads. And so there's only $1 billion a year to do road projects. We have probably about The General Assembly believes we have about $38 billion in backlogged road projects. TDOT, by their count, they feel we have about $29 billion, but you have to understand the General Assembly members want a lot more for their district than TDOT, thinks is necessary, and that's always going to be the case. So we do have to do something to work on these roads. Lebanon Road, that's a state road, and we've got that problem there in front of West Elementary. We've got 2 lanes only from Mount Juliet to 109.
Right.
We want to make that, widen that and make that a better, safer roadway for families and, commuters. So
That'd be
there's a lot to do.
Interesting, I think, to see how all this shakes out. But bottom line is, we just need some more money for roads right now.
We do. We do. We're growing. We have so much more population. And, down in the Providence area, they have some projects they want there. We want to do that interchange, the new interchange. Well, I'm afraid the choice lanes would delay that new interchange because undoubtedly extra lanes would be added on both sides.
Yeah.
And so the choice lanes would delay that. But you know what? It is just better to, whatever we're going to do, it's just better to get on with it and do it so that we can get things done. Because, when it comes to roads, it takes, we also have a bill for a shorter process for the road planning process. There's the design work. They've got the land acquisition, the utilities moving. They have to move utilities. There's lots of utilities run along the side of the road. Got to move them. So it's a long process to get these roads built. And, those utility companies, they move their own utilities because they know how to do it. So when you're talking water lines, you're talking buried electric, gas lines. Those are 3 different utilities at least. Sometimes there could be multiple companies. And they all do their own utility moving. And sometimes you'll see, you'll be driving along, well, the road's dug up, we're there, and then it's buried again, and then road's dug up again. Well, that's because another utility's moving. They're all moving. So better coordinating that so that everybody can move at the same time would be very helpful.
Well, I hope you have a great 2 weeks, and be back here 2 weeks from today. We are out of time, gone over a little bit, but appreciate your visit, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, thank you, Coleman.
State Representative Susan Lynn, that's part 1 of Coleman and Company. We've got a special guest for part 2, so keep it here, FM 98.9.
And at 7:31, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and the regular oil change, $34.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Trying to clear up this crash on 40 westbound, just past Fessler's. All it's doing is aggravating all that heavy traffic coming in past the airport now on 40 westbound through Hermitage, Donaldson. Again, it's pretty slow here at Spence Lane on 40 westbound because of this wreck. Not bad, actually, on I-40 through Dixon County. That's been pretty quiet all the way up to Kingston Springs. Again, watch for some radar in both of those locations out, especially out in Dixon County. Hey, Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. Call Nash Painting today, 615-912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
No rain to worry about as you're off to work this morning, but the rest of the week could get stormy. We will be in the 50s to start the day, heading for a high of 63 this afternoon. Rain chances increase for tomorrow with scattered thunderstorms possible. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us, and welcome to part 2 here on this Monday morning. Billy Mullinax is here. You don't expect anything else on Monday at this time. Billy is with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Oh, good to see you as always, but we just don't worry about you not making it on Monday morning. I've had other people talk about something about what was your record or whatever. I said, well, I don't know whether he's ever missed a Monday or not. I've missed a few when
I've missed 2. I've missed
You
two,
are
Coleman.
keeping up with it.
Yeah, I've missed two.
Well, anyway, he's here, of course, as general manager of Mount Juliet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. You were in the restaurant business for a long time, and now instead of selling food, you're selling cars. And honestly, I think you like this a little better.
Well, Coleman, I like both of them. Of course, I was in the restaurant business, as you know, 30 years, and been in the car business now since 2012. So, but both businesses are just about taking care of people.
Yeah.
And I love people. So whether you're selling food or selling cars, it's still about people.
Well, you've got a great location, and we have joked about this, but it's true the way we say it. It is the easy side of Mount Juliet traffic-wise, and right there at 600 Pleasant Grove Road, you're close to Walmart and Academy Sports. That's two of the landmarks that
Yep.
You are there and associate with, and they probably get some of your business. You probably get some of theirs.
Well, that's exactly right, Coleman. And it is the easier side of Mount Juliet. They have improved things a little bit with that widening the bridge and doing the changes there. That's helped tremendously. But the north side still, I think, just a little easier to get around and navigate than what the south side is.
Well, how's February going here? It's blown hot and cold, as we say. We've had warm weather, we've had cool weather, we've had rainy weather, we've had some sunshiny days. But how's business?
We've had a really good month, Coleman, and February typically you start. January is all dependent on weather as far as your business, but then February typically, even though it's a short month, it typically is a really good month, and this one is shaping up to be that way also.
Well, what are people buying now? Has it changed any in the last 6 months?
Coleman, not really. I mean, on the new side, it's still the Jeep products and the Ram products, which are both wonderful. And you have more of those than you do the Dodge and the Chrysler. In all honesty, the Chrysler Pacifica vans that we typically sell them about as quick as we get them in. You just don't get as many of those. And in the Chrysler lineup, you've only got two vehicles, which is the Pacifica and the 300. So you don't have as many vehicles. And then, you get to the Dodge brand, which is a fantastic brand, especially when you look at the vehicles, the Challenger, the Charger, and the Durango. You just don't have as many of the if you will, the different vehicles in those brands, and they don't produce as many of those. So they're never going to be as big a seller just because of the volume of vehicles produced.
Well, now I understand all four of these are in the same family, right?
They're all under the Stellantis nameplate, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
So, well, what I was thinking, well, if they're selling more Jeeps and Rams and less Chryslers and Dodges, it doesn't make that much difference as long as you're selling something.
That's exactly right, Coleman. And we've got, we've talked about this recently, a little better new car inventory. We've still got about 70 vehicles. I think somewhere June, July, I think you're going to see that increase somewhat substantially, not back where we once were with 300 or 400, but I think you're going to see that grow a little bit and continue to improve. I think they were saying the chip shortage was what was behind all of this, and that seems to be letting up a little bit, I guess.
Well, we do want to remind everybody, as we always do, to see the entire inventory of those new and pre-owned cars at MountJulietCDJR.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Yes, sir. MountJulietCDJR.com. And other than the name, I think the website's about like it's been.
It is.
You have the inventory, you have the price that's there, so you know what to expect to pay for that particular model.
That's right, Coleman.
you can see the price there, and all of our vehicles are right there online. So it's a little different website, but it still kind of works the same way.
Well, here we are on the 20th.
20th of
20th
February.
Of February, a holiday for some, but not everybody. and
We're
not us.
we're here, Coleman.
And
We
you're
are
gonna-
here.
Your sales department will be there today till 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock tonight.
All right. Well, we've mentioned this a number of times, but you do have service after the sale, which is another important thing. You've got some good people in the service department.
We've got some great people, and that is certainly the tougher side of the business, Coleman. Anytime the service side's always going to be harder on any business, because I think people are always excited to spend money for a new vehicle, but they typically are not as excited to spend money on what they've already got.
Well, I think that's said pretty well. Well, you have a great rest of the month, and we'll do it again next
See
month.
you next Monday.
All right. Billy Mullinax, General Manager for Mount Juliet, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 600 Pleasant Grove Road in Mount Juliet. All right, we are ready to welcome our guest this morning, and I want to introduce. Let me introduce Susie James, who is right here this morning, and it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
How was your weekend?
It was lovely. Thank you.
Did you go camping this weekend?
I did not. I did not.
All right, but you had a great weekend.
I had a great weekend.
All right. Well, I mentioned a special guest this
we
morning.
do have a special
We do
guest.
have a special guest.
All of our guests are special, but this one is really special to the radio family and to me personally. And so I wanted to introduce him, and then I'll step away. But
Well, don't step away. Just stay with us. Be
well,
fine.
he's quite talented. He has plenty to say. Maybe I should stay in case I need to shut him up, or no. In 2000, 23 years ago, he was a guest on your show. And then right after that, I called Steve Malone, who was the principal at Lebanon High School, and I said, I need some help running the board operator, engineering some of our ball games. I don't need a radio guy. I need a computer nerd. And I used those words. And Steve Malone sent me Jeremiah Weiser. And he was this tall, thin senior in high school. And he has been here ever since. And it's just been, most of the time, it's been delightful to have Jeremiah. And he is loyal. He is dependable. I was honored to witness he and Monica be married. I witnessed him be baptized. He has a beautiful family. He'll tell you about that. But I am so proud to have Jeremiah as my friend and as our radio family. So welcome, Jeremiah.
Hey there.
I've got to say this was your idea, and for whatever reason, it was supposed to be on a Monday. And maybe 6 weeks ago, when you threw this out, or maybe 2 months ago, this was about the first opportunity we had. But Jeremiah, it is good to see you this morning.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.
To be you were my guest once before.
Yes, sir.
Well, I confess I don't remember.
That's okay.
Well, what was the occasion?
Lebanon High School's basketball team was going to the state finals.
Ah, okay. All
So
right.
it's like I told her before we got on, it's like this month, 23 years ago, I'm sitting over here.
Well, you were playing basketball for Coach Hutto, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Along with John Boyce, who also
Now,
works-
John Boyce, I think, was either a sophomore or a freshman my senior year.
Oh, okay.
So tail end of the year, we were together. Yeah.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Were you born in Wilson County? Or you lived here all your life?
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, how'd you get to Lebanon?
Well, my parents lived in Pigram from first 4 years, and then when I turned 4, they moved here off the Linwood exit, Bellwood area.
Yeah.
And that's where they currently reside. They've been there ever since.
What was it like when you got the call to come out here? I mean, you accepted. Were you handpicked necessarily by Steve Malone, maybe?
Coach Hutto came to me, and he knew that I had an interest in radio TV production going to MTSU. And he told me that Miss Susie had a job opening, and I came up here basically the very next day. Said, hey, I'm here for a job.
Well, you didn't mind not being on the air. You just sit there and push the buttons and the control board and all this kind of thing.
Yeah. At the time, I ain't afraid to say it. I had a little bit of a foul mouth, so I didn't mind not be talking. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, how was the basketball? We've had some great basketball teams. We've had some that weren't so great, but I can't keep up with it all. It's too many years here.
You're good.
Well,
Yeah. I know we had one team before us that went to the state, and they got knocked out in the first round. And then in 2000, we went to the state and made it to the Final Four. We were the first one in school history to make it to the Final Four.
okay. All right. Well,
'Cause
you must.
Jimmy Mack, coach.
What position did you play?
I was a center.
Okay. All right.
I had to play behind Daniel Easterly and Andrew Taylor.
Are you still active at all as far as sports go?
Only when my kids are playing. I gave up the basketball for a guitar.
Well, we need to go to a break. Before we do, tell us quickly about your family and your children.
My wife is Monica. She's from Hermitage. We got married 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, because my son's about to be 8. Got my daughter with me, 4, about to be 5, and I have a newborn at the house with my wife.
So you have 3 children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, again, welcome. Let's take a break here, and we'll talk more Jeremiah in a moment. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, where premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment. 1506 West Main, 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
It's a little bit slower than normal. People are staring at an earlier wreck we had on 40 westbound in the area of Fesslers. All that did was aggravate that traffic right there coming in from Donaldson and Hermitage on 40 westbound. As you approach Fesslers, that's still dragging along. I still see some heavy traffic out here in Wilson County on 40 westbound, just outside of Lebanon. Again, give yourself a little bit of extra time through there as you come in from Smith County towards Lebanon, Wilson County on 40 going westbound. Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. I'm telling you, these guys are absolutely the best. If you want your house to look really good this spring, call right now. Nash Painting at 615-917-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Exmark builds mowers that deliver a perfect cut in less time. Because we believe what you get out of your lawn, not your mower, is what matters most.
Find signature cut quality, comfort, and reliability. Exmark's Laser Z is the zero-turn more landscape pros trust. Find attractive financing and the Exmark that's right for you at Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon.
Exmark, official mowers of the backyard life.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning. Jeremiah Weiser is with us, and he is mostly in the background here. But now that you've, how long you been working here, by the way, altogether?
This will be my 23rd year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've been here a while.
Yes, sir.
Is there a certain appeal to you about radio? I mean, just to be on the air, whether you're actually talking or you're doing the ball games and running the commercials and doing the station IDs and all of this, is that can be fun.
It's real fun. My first appeal was just I'm a music person. I just love music, and radio was an instant draw because you get to play music all day. And being an athlete in high school, I love sports too, so being able to listen to sports was also an appeal. So when I first started, I got the Tennessee Titans. That was great. Loved it. Remember the Music City Miracle moment? That was great. I was sitting in that chair right over there. That was awesome. I remember covering the Nashville Sounds for the 3 years that we had them. My first week, man, oh my goodness. Game 1, 15 innings. Game 2, 12 innings. Game 3, 14 innings. Game 4, first a doubleheader. Rain delay. 14 innings. Game 2, rain delay, 14 innings. I had all kinds of overtime that day.
Well,
that
yeah,
week.
that's what I was saying. You were getting paid by the hour.
Yes. Good thing I was, because that would have been rough.
Well, one of the things when you are doing a sporting event like this, and I did my share 100 years ago, so I know what it's like. You don't get too far because you never know when there's going to be a time.
Right, right. Yeah, we can't just put on like a 10-minute song, go to the restroom. We got to sit around and wait.
What you talked about liking music? Is there a particular kind of music, or do you like it all?
I like pretty much all genres. At first, when I was growing up, going to Tucker's Crossroads, it was 90s country, or basically pop country, 90s version, and pop at the time, because that's what my mom listened to, and I basically listened to whatever she listened to. When I got into high school, it was more classic rock oriented. So Ozzy Osbourne, Led Zeppelin, you name them, that's who I was listening to in high school. That's one of the reasons why I picked up the guitar, was because of those bands, and guitar is just awesome. But right now, I listen to everything,
Well, of course, we're country here. Do you?
Yes, I listen to country. I listen to country.
I think a lot of times younger people will shy away from that. And especially when I was growing up and later on, it was like that song says, country wasn't so cool. I think country is cooler now than maybe it's ever been.
Oh, I agree.
Although some things that are called country, I don't necessarily identify that way, but that's just
I
me.
agree. I agree with that too. It's like Shania Twain is considered the queen of country pop. And today I think a lot of people have a bunch of elements of the pop aspect to their stuff, even more so than the stuff from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't consider a lot of today's stuff real true country, but it's not technically pop either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in between.
Well, you mentioned your wife,
Monica.
Monica. I can't read my writing here. I've seen Monica a few times, but I don't see you much because you're not out here when I'm here.
I'm not here in the mornings, man. I'm a night bird.
We have a station get together, so you're occasionally you've come out here before I left or something like that. But our jobs are totally different.
Yes, sir.
You're not a talk show host.
Yes, sir. You talk to people, and I talk to nobody.
But you've been working some on Sunday mornings.
Yes.
And so that's different in itself.
Oh, yes, sir, it is. Because in the mornings, it's really funny too. Because my first experience with God's country is every single preacher that particular day had something from the book of Jeremiah in it. I mean, how funny is that? I mean, the live people that were in the room and the recorded people on CDs all had something from the book of Jeremiah in it. And I was like, all right, you telling me something here, so what's going on?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it. You do have a Bible name, I guess.
Yes, sir.
We'd say that.
Yes, sir.
And
Weeping prophet.
Does everybody always call you Jeremiah?
Yes, sir. I have one person calls me Jerry. I think it's kind of like a trade-off because I call him Junior because he's a junior.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of mean. Hey, your daddy's got the same name. I'm not going to call you the same name as your daddy, and I'm not going to call you like everybody else. I just call you Junior.
All right. Yeah. Well, in addition to Monica, your wife,
yes,
you've got Camden, you've got Zara, who is here, and
she ran away.
Yeah, and then the Hudson is how old?
5 months.
Yeah,
5 months.
And how old is Camden?
8. He will be 8 in June.
Okay.
And Zara will be 5 in August.
Okay, almost 8, 5, and
yes. In 6 months.
6 months. Yeah. Well.
Yes, sir. Got my hands full.
That's what I was going to say. You got your hands full. But,
yes, sir.
But I will say this: enjoy them while you can.
Oh, I do.
Before you
Trust me.
They're gone.
It's funny because when Camden first started talking, we were trying to push hard on him. Hey, man, start talking. Now he talks and can't get him to hush up.
Well, you have evidently made a very favorable impression on the boss here.
Yeah, I don't see how.
Well, she insisted that you be on, and I'm really glad to have you as my guest. And I can remember having different basketball teams out here a few times, but I'll tell you what, in nearly 30 years of doing this, it's hard to remember. You don't remember every program, as you would understand. But I think the whole story here is good. That she got the right person when Steve Malone sent you here, no question.
No question. That's the only thing I can think of. Is like they haven't fired me yet. Like, I'll be honest. My very first day here, I even told him beforehand that I was going to be late because I had classes at MTSU. Class was at 10. Ball game was at 12. So I got out at 11. MTSU is a good 40, 45-minute drive from here. I was like 10, 20 minutes late. I got yelled at my first day because I told him, "You didn't tell me you were going to be late." Yada, yada. I was like, "Man, yeah, I did. I got school books to prove it." I was like, I'm already fired before I got started.
Well, I would think from the story I've heard that Susie's been a very positive influence on your life.
Yes, she has. My daughter is in a dance group at Ballet Adora, and they had a little event last year, and I sent her a video. She responded back. If someone would have told me 20 years ago that you'd be sending me a video of your daughter doing ballet, I'd have laughed in their faces. I responded back, so would I.
What else do you do? I mean, this what you do here is not all you do in the way of work, is it?
No, sir. I also work at Bridgestone, DC off 109. I basically help people get their tires when they need it. And that's basically it. I mean, I help out friends and stuff with the little odd jobs here and there, but mostly here in Bridgestone.
You got a 40-hour-a-week job there, pretty much?
Yes, sir. I work 4 days a week. That's why Mondays is usually the best day for me.
Oh, okay.
I work Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing that?
I've been there 5 years. This will be my 5th year.
Yeah. What about your wife?
My wife is currently...
I always ask it this way, because we know if she's a wife, she works. But does she work outside the home?
Right now, no. She works at the house with the kiddos.
She's
got a full-time job with the newborn.
Yep.
So I ain't gonna knock her on that one.
Well, sometimes you do have different hours and later hours here. I hope that hadn't interfered too much with your family life.
No, not really. When I tell them I'm coming to the radio station, the kids know a couple hours I'll be home. It's not like having to go to my other job where it's 10 hours straight. The kids know, hey, within 3 hours I'm back at the house and they're good to go.
Yeah, okay. So you're actually working 10-hour days, 4 days a week.
Yes, sir.
And have Monday off. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then, so I guess a lot more of your time's been spent here on the weekend over the years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I remember starting the scoreboard show. I've gone through like 7 different hosts with my current one, John. That's like a revolving door on that one, man.
What? How you and John get along?
We get along pretty good.
John Boyce to me has a world of talent.
He does.
Really does.
Yeah.
And the day I had him on not too long ago, I was sitting here thinking how well he impressed me a lot. I mean, he's talking about somebody with irons in the fire. He's doing something all the time. And
all the time.
3 things usually. But
I have a lot of respect for John. He does a lot of good stuff.
Well, it's all part of the family.
That's right.
But and I think we all work together pretty well. That's always going to be a little misunderstanding, or somebody's going to get their feelings hurt every once in a great while. But for the most part, it's one big happy family here.
Right.
And I think we all appreciate Billy Goodman too.
Yes,
and I know you do with all that you do here from the technical end of it.
I have to. He showed me what I got to do.
He pretty much knows it all.
Yes, sir.
And it makes for a smoother operation.
Yes.
But you do football games with the Titans especially.
Yes, sir.
And each sport is a little bit different. I mean,
Yes.
Sitting here monitoring a baseball game and doing the station IDs and the commercials is a little bit different from football. I mean, you know if there's 2 outs, that third out's going to come pretty soon. You don't know when there's going to be a timeout in basketball or football.
Yeah.
The
That is
half
correct.
times can be different. There's no halftime in baseball, so it's not all the same.
Well, that's also dependable on the announcer. I mean, I love Mitch Walters to death, man, but that dude has some long breaks. You're sitting here thinking, like, did I just miss a break? Tell me I did not miss a break. Billy would walk in and be like, did you miss a break? I don't think so. I go to hit that space bar, hit that button, and all of a sudden he starts talking. It's like, nope, I didn't miss a break.
Oh, you're involved in music. Have you written songs? You've got that.
I try to write songs, but once I get like say a verse in my head with the piece that I've written, that's the only set of words I'll keep hearing for the rest. I'm like, I need help.
I didn't ask you this, but how old are you?
As of Friday last week, I'm 41.
41.
Yes, sir.
What do you have any goals? We just got a minute here, got to wrap this up. But what
I've already hit my goals. I got a family. I'm good to go. I'm good. I got a good job. I'm good.
You're loving life.
I am.
And loving your wife.
Yes, sir.
And loving your children.
Yes, sir.
And made a few important changes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You've got a good story.
Try to. Well, somebody wants to read it.
When's the next time you're going to be out here on the air?
Saturday.
Okay.
For the Cumberland games.
All right. And Cumberland, by the way, I understand they came from behind and won 4 games.
Yes, sir. They won all 4 of them. They won both Saturday and both yesterday.
Well, I guess you're a big Bulldog fan, big Titans fan, big Lebanon High fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you said you're good to go.
Good
It
to
is
go.
time for us to go. Thanks for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's going to do it for a Monday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.